Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Brokerpreneur podcast. I am Dr. Ben Spears, the ambassador of the flow.
Of the flow?
Of the flow.
Of the flow.
Yeah, I added a the. I'm here with the big guy as usual, Matt Vi.
The big guy.
The guy, the big of the guy.
We'll say the big guy instead of the big guy. How about that?
Yeah, I like it.
The big guy.
Matt.
Yes, Benny.
How you doing, man?
Fantastical.
Whenever you start using two hands on your keyboard,
yeah,
I start to worry, dude.
No, man, I'm a home row kind of guy when it comes to typing. I took typing class, brother.
I know, but the way that you're doing, whatever you're doing now,
it just ain't right.
Yeah, that's not typing. That's like a control delete.
Right. That's like hunting and pecking with home row keys.
Yeah, exactly. No,
Somehow.
I've seen you type, man. I've seen you go. I've seen you get after it. I'm not saying that you're not,
That's where the pretty
skilled,
girls were.
Everybody thinks like just because you're Gen X, you're maybe not a good typer.
Oh, right. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
We are going to talk about the generations today. That was a great segue.
I know. I did that on purpose.
I see that.
I'm the ambassador of flow.
The ambassador. Let's go.
So Matt, tell them what we're talking about.
So we're actually gonna dig into one of the other podcasts that we've done. We talked about recruiting myths, right? Things that people just needed to let go, and we promised at that point that we would dig into some of these other topics. We picked up some momentum, some speed, some go, and we didn't circle back around to those.
Yeah.
So we're going to circle back around and we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about some of those, and one of them today is generational characteristics and how to deal with that when you're recruiting, especially if you're one generation and you're thinking you need to hire another generation.
Yeah.
That's what
absolutely.
I'm talking about. Yeah.
We didn't literally pick up some speed.
No, of course not.
We just, it's figurative.
Ben, are you talking about drugs?
Guys.
Wait a minute. You could prescribe them to me.
No, I can't. I'm not that kind of doctor.
Oh, I got you.
So, guys, wherever
I thought
you're
we were
listening,
on to something there, brother.
The fastest podcast ever. Wherever you listen to this, hit that follow, that subscribe button. There's no better time than the present than to go to prospectboomerang.com. Check out everything that we've got going on there. Go to also, click on the top button that says podcast. Go to brokerpreneurpodcast.com and sign up for a month or weekly rather. I always want to say monthly because that's what everybody else does.
Right.
Sign up for our weekly.
They're not us though.
That's exactly right. Recruiting newsletter. I pack absolutely as much information into that newsletter as I possibly can every single week, guys.
Yep. So good.
I steal secret. I steal secret coaching clips from Matt's live calls, and I throw them in there and just give out all that juicy information.
All that secret sauce. He actually put the Colonel's original recipe in one of the. If you look through the code, if you have the codex from Brokerpreneur, you can look and you can see the secret recipe for Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Yeah, sure.
No.
Yeah. If you get your Annie Oakley Ovaltine decoder ring, you might could find some kind of secret recipe.
Talk about generations.
To Kentucky Fried Chicken in there.
Right.
Probably not though.
Yeah.
Don't sign up for that.
No, not for that.
Yeah. Sign up for a different newsletter.
You ever hear the Colonel Sanders story about how many times that dude went and tried
Oh my
to
gosh, it was like 1,987 no's, and then finally somebody's like, "Yeah, I'll buy a chicken."
Thank God.
Yeah, thank
that
goodness.
Chicken is so good.
Yeah, extra crispy, man. That's my jam.
Oh man, I love the original.
I just know you, right? You're Gen Xer.
Well, here we go.
Millennials, we're like, we need
crispy.
We need that extra bread, man.
Right. We need to be transparent in our chicken.
Yeah, exactly. Everything needs to be more transparent. I want to. I need
Can't
to
have a secret recipe. What kind of non-transparent is that? It's got to be the regular old fried chicken.
Yeah, I love it. I don't know what else to say. That's too good. So Matt.
Yeah, man.
We're talking about being authentic versus hiring.
Yeah.
Based on like generational characteristics.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So we talked about this, and like I said, I think it was the 3 myths of recruiting that need to stop immediately, or something like that, right? So if you want to go back and get the big picture overview, absolutely go listen to that episode. It's a really good episode, packed with a whole bunch of stuff. But that's why we're going to dig into specifically one of these. So we're going to talk about the generations for just a second, because here's what we struggle with sometimes when we're talking to people about getting this point across, right? So you'll have some people say, well, you know what? I just need more. I need younger agents in here. I need techier agents inside my office.
Yeah.
That's 2 different things.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
They'll say, I need some younger agents. I need some techier agents. I need some, right? And they're automatically just combining those things together. Okay. So the best way to look at that is if you're authentic to yourself, are you saying that because that's not what your office is and you want that? Because if so, that's a problem. That's not who you're going to get, right? You can't say, you know what, I sure would like to just have a whole bunch of techie people in here and you not know how to turn a computer on.
Control Alt Delete, man.
That's exactly right. Home row pecking like I was doing just a second ago. You can't do that.
Yeah.
Right? And you can try. When I say you can't do that, I don't mean you can't put the effort into attempting to have that happen.
Yes, of course.
Even if you hire them, they're going to be on. How long is it going to take before they're like, wait a minute, I'm a techie person. I'm in an office that nobody knows how to turn a computer on. I'm out of here, right?
Yeah.
So that's a very micro example of a very macro problem, right? When people are recruiting, they think, oh, I want to hire the people that I want my office to be instead of hiring the people that my office is. Okay, so. We can get into conversation about future pacing, right? We can get into conversation about believing in who you are and what you're going to turn into and all that kind of stuff and everything, okay? That's all of that is absolutely true. However, you have to take steps to make that happen. You can't sit on your couch and eat bonbons and just wish that you're going to become a billionaire and turn into a billionaire. That is not the way it works.
Yeah.
You have to envision that. You have to want it. You got to put the freaking bonbons down and you got it bonbons down.
Yeah.
Did I say it right the first time?
I don't know. I know what I think it's bon.
Yeah, bon. So you got to put those Oreos down, and you got to get up, and you got to go do the work. This is the same exact thing.
Yeah.
If you want an office that's techie, you got to put in the work. You can't just say, "I want a techie office."
Yeah. So if I was like, sitting on the couch this weekend, and I was watching Field of Dreams,
right,
and I hear that voice, if you build it,
the recruits will come.
Right, and he goes out and he's just like, you know what? Like, I know it's going to destroy my farm. I'm going to build that baseball field. Some voice is telling me to do it. James Earl Jones, he's like, I'll come write about it. Right, whatever. And then you sit there and you're like, I built it.
Right,
where's everybody at?
Yep.
And then, at the end they show it. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, if you haven't
seen Field of Dreams, like you just
hit pause.
Don't even
go watch it.
And don't even like listen to this podcast.
Of course they listen to this podcast, Ben.
Listen, it's a great jam.
Did you lose your damn mind for a second there?
No, I didn't. I love that movie. But anyway.
No, I was talking about you telling people to turn off our podcast.
Well, you're the one that said hit pause.
Okay.
Right? It's whatever, man.
All right.
That doesn't matter. I'm just saying.
Just like a millennial, always getting distracted.
You're getting told. You're getting told, and if you build it, they will come. If you're saying like, "Gosh, I want an office full of young techie people," which yes, two different animals. And you start building this. You start building this whole office. If you build it, will they come? Or is this one of those things where that's only in like Field of Dreams?
Build it. You have to build it. If you build it, they will come. It's not if you put the sign up, they'll come.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, so you have to put the effort in. He didn't just put a home plate. He didn't cut down 6 ears of corn and put a home plate. He built the damn field.
Yeah.
Right? He put bleachers in. He cut stuff down. He leveled it. He put the clay in. He put the backstop and everything. I think he had a backstop. I don't remember.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Okay. So he did all of those things that he needed to do. He built it. And then everybody rolled up. Yeah. Right? That's what you have to do. If you be authentic to who you are right now and be authentic to what you want to be. If you want to be that techie office, or if you want that office with just younger agents, right? You're looking at your roster and you're like, oh my gosh, everybody's 95 plus. In 2 years, I'm going to be out of business. You take a look at what you are, where you currently are. If you want to be something else, you have to build what that is, not just go out and hire people and hope that they'll turn it into it. Because what ends up happening is it fractures who you are. Yeah. Right? And we talk about fractured culture and splintered culture all the time. Yeah. Right?
Yeah, so let's talk about each generation a little. Not every generation forever, right? Like we don't need to go back to like the mummies.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's a book called The Four Turnings.
Yeah.
super good book. If you want to dig into generational stuff and the cyclical part of it, super good book.
Is it about wood turning?
No.
I'd read that.
Yeah, I know you would.
But anyway, so just really quick, right? Like millennials, I'll start there because, we're most important, right? Millennials, they just, everybody thinks, they just want to be in a tribe and they want to do everything and hold hands. And, we don't want to talk to people, unless it's, about the planet.
Right.
Or something. Right. Like there's a lot of, little things there. Whereas I know millennials where, they don't want to be around anybody.
Right.
I don't want no tribe.
Right.
So, just leave me alone. I want to sit at my computer.
Yep.
In my cave.
Right.
And work on whatever my project is.
Right.
I don't need the kumbaya.
Right.
And hugs and all that kind of stuff. Gen X, right? Like the big guy. They're like, what are some of your all stereotypes? I don't even know. Like you can't type.
Well, we can't type. That's so horrible.
I know. I just mess with you.
Yeah. So let's talk for just a little bit more about millennials, right?
Sure thing.
As a matter of fact, let's do this. Let's go back to the boomers, and then we'll hit Gen X, and then hit Gen Z. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to read a couple of things here.
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
So baby boomers, right? They live to work. Okay.
Yeah.
And their self-worth equals work ethic. That's a big part of who and what they are, right? They're loyal to an employer. They're competitive, goal-centric, process-oriented, focused, disciplined, very traditional in values, right? Okay. So Gen X, which is my generation, and by the way, so we're going to put just a quick document in the description or something like that
Sure.
just has a quick graph of where everybody is, and so it'll be helpful so that the years and everything, because from 46 to 64 was boomers, 64 to 80 was X, 81 to 96 I think is millennials, right? And so anyway, so I'll put that in the
Yeah. What I'll do, guys, is there'll be a link in the description. Just go and click on it. You'll be able to download.
Yeah, cool.
Whatever Matt wants me to build for you.
Right. Well, there we go. I love that. So Gen X, right? So Gen X is that is right after the baby boomers, right? They work to live, right? They crave independence. They're full of skepticism. Okay, so I know, Ben, that doesn't make any sense to you with sitting next to me.
No, you're so trusting.
So trusting and open-minded to everything.
Yeah, it's not just about open houses.
It's about Matt's being right.
It's about Matt being right.
Thanks, Ben. So skeptic. They've got a lot of skepticism. Very focused on results, right? Okay.
Yes.
They think globally, right? They adapt to change. They're eager to learn. They thrive on flexibility, and education is a necessary means to succeed. Is how they look at it. Okay. So millennials are fully transparent. We joked about the original recipe, right?
Yep.
They like to share everything, right? They do well with detailed instructions. That's something they do with, which I would completely agree with that. They have a desire to make an impact, right? So commerce and conscience have to go hand in hand. This is the first generation that's the way that's been, which I think is great. Value diversity, again, think it's incredible. They love technology. Okay.
Yes.
Education is a highly expensive necessity in their mind, and they do not perform at their best in a traditional work environment, right? And so that means, of course, real estate might be a good fit for them, because real estate's anything but a traditional work environment.
You got that right.
So and they like to find solutions by leveraging technology, right? So the next generation, which is Generation Z, which is the people that are I think probably right now they're probably 7 or 8 years old to 21 years old, 22 years old, something like that, right? They're tech initiatives. They're a tech initiative, which means they're the first ones that have had advanced technology in their hands.
Yeah.
Right. So smartphones and stuff like that are considered advanced technology because they work across multiple platforms.
Right.
Right. So before, technology was this thing did this job. Right.
Yeah.
Now advanced technology is this thing does a bunch of jobs.
Yeah. Right.
So they're the first ones that have had that in their hands, right?
Yeah.
That have grown up with that in their hands. They're really accepting of others. I think we know that. They like to make things. They're realist. They're very individual. they're very competitive. They're also transparent, and they're entrepreneurial, and they have an initiative spirit for things that they're passionate about, and they're concerned about the cost of education.
Yeah. Well,
So, and the cost.
my
and value
son,
of education.
my son's 10. I know it's the only thing he always worries about.
Yeah, there you
The
go.
cost of education. He's like, I'm terrified about it.
Right. Yeah, but his cost is more like, what's it going to cost me if I don't get good grades?
Yeah,
That's his cost of education.
That's exactly right. He wants this. We pay them for their grades. It's their job.
Right. Of course.
And my kids are 10 and 8. We're at Barnes & Noble. He really wants this game, Marvel Champions, for Christmas.
Uh-huh.
And he finds it there. And it's like a card game where you play as different superheroes or whatever.
Right.
He's like, just if you'll buy this for me, you don't even have to pay me for my straight A's. And I'm like, I looked at him because he gets like $50 an A or something like that.
Right.
And
yeah.
I was like, sounds like a pretty good deal for us.
Sold.
Yeah. So I have that's kind of joking. This is a serious question.
Yeah.
My dad works with a guy.
Uh-huh.
And I find out that this guy collects cassette tapes.
Yeah.
Hey guys, this podcast is powered by Prospect Boomerang.
We all know broker owners struggle with profitability. Prospect Boomerang compounds your profits by recruiting the best agents to your brokerage.
For consistent growth, visit prospectboomerang.com.
Like, what generation do you think that guy's in?
Oh, he's my generation. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's Gen X.
Seems like a weird medium
It was.
to collect.
Right, but
Because it kind of goes bad, even if you take care
but when
of
you
it.
flip that case open and you've got Def Leppard, Pyromania, you got that thing that folds out and the words that are inside of it, and you're just loving to smell the. Come on, man!
No.
And if the tape gets broken, you just put a pencil in there and wind it back up, right?
Unless the tape gets broken.
Well, you know what I mean,
Yeah, I kind of know what you mean.
right? Well,
So-
apparently not, because if you're going to call me out on how I said it wrong.
Yeah. So now we know. Now we know the generational.
Thanks for that, Ben,
characteristics,
and the
right?
recording and everything. That's.
Yeah. So now we know the different generational characteristics.
Yeah, some of
we understand that I see things in a way where, I love using technology to create solutions, whereas you collect cassette tapes.
Right. What's your point?
How do you recruit to that? Right? Do you just throw all that out the window because it's like
No, of course not. Yeah. You can't.
because it's like, well, I don't know. Everybody's different.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Yeah. So what are your characteristics? What are your characteristics, and which ones are you willing to trade in for new ones? Right.
Okay.
And so whenever I say, what are your characteristics? This can be things like, I was just talking to some people yesterday or the day before, and they were trying really hard to recruit some listing agents. Mm-hmm. Okay. And they were getting some listing agents, and the listing agents weren't staying there long, right? 12 months maybe, and they're leaving, and so they're putting a lot of effort in. It was almost taking them longer to acquire these listing agents than the listing agents were staying. Okay. And so we go through and we take a look at what they're doing with their business. Now they have a lot of business that they do a very good job of generating. They have a lot of leads. Okay. And so they sell a lot of leads to their agents. A lot of who they are is that.
Okay.
So they're hiring people that don't necessarily fit that. And if you have a lot of leads like that, even if they're listing leads, which a bunch of them aren't listing leads, but some of them were, that's not your culture.
Yeah.
Right. So now you got to make a decision. That's what we talked about. I was like, so do we dig deeper into that market segment and go, hey, look, let's get more leads and let's find agents that appreciate that? Or do we move away from that and try to move towards the listing side of it? Or do we just throw our hands up in the air and say, let's hire whoever, and I hope that those people win? Right.
Yeah.
That's what creates churn. Option 3 is what creates churn.
Yeah.
Okay. So a whole different conversation. We won't get into that. So the conversation I had with them, which is answering the question that you asked just a second ago, you have to figure out, one, who you currently are.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you have to figure out who you want to be, and are you willing to build that?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you willing to build being a listing company? That means that you're going to have a certain level of marketing support. That means that you got to have a farming program that's set up ready to go with people, right? That means you got to have for sale by owner packets that are put together that your agents can just grab and go if you want to be a listing company.
Right.
If you want to be somebody that's what you want to do. Then you're going to attract those people, because now people that are already doing a lot of listings, they're using those things and they're having to figure it out themselves. And you're walking up and you're going, hey, by the way, I've got this and it's going to help you out. And they're like, holy crap, that would help.
Yeah. What if you don't know what you want to be?
Uh-huh.
Right, because that's a big problem, right?
It is.
It's very easy to look at the brokerage across the street that's like killing it and being like, man, whatever they're doing, I got to do that.
Yeah.
Even if I don't like it.
Yeah.
And half the time you're complaining about them because you don't like them because they're beating you up at your game.
Yeah. Right.
But then you're like, well, I guess I got to be them.
Yeah.
Even though all I've done is talk shit about them.
Right. The whole time.
For the last 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's your question?
How do you figure? If you don't know what you want to be, how do you figure out what you want to be?
Yeah. So that's what I thought. Just wanted to make sure, right? Because the other question that you had in there is, should you adapt what somebody else is, right? Both of them are really good questions. Let's start with the first one, right? If you don't know who you are, you can ask some other people who you are, and they'll be able to tell you.
Yeah.
Okay, that's absolutely going to make a big impact, because it's going to help you understand how other people perceive you. You don't even realize what you're doing sometimes you don't understand what you're doing, and you have to in order to understand who you are.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
So if you want a quick, easy way of doing this, go back and look at the tools usage that everybody in your office is using, including you.
Okay.
Not the ones you're paying for.
Right.
Big difference between the ones you're paying for and the ones that are being used.
Totally different.
What is it that's being used? If you look and you see that 60% of your office is using a farming program like RSP or American Lifestyle or something like that, okay, you're probably leaning more towards the listing side of things, because that is a very high adaptation of a tool or a system. Okay, 60% is through the roof, to be completely honest. So you got to go back and look at the tools that are actually being used and leveraged inside your business. Probably the other thing that I would take a really close look at is what transactions are you doing, right?
Okay.
And where is your revenue coming from? What I mean by that is, if you have a bunch of transactions, which are, as an example, let's say that you're doing 1,000 transactions a year. You know, you're a small, medium-sized office. You're doing 1,000 transactions a year, and you look at it, and you're only making, I'm just going to give an example, right? $100,000 off of that, right? First of all, you should be out of business, but that's a whole different conversation.
Right.
But let's say that you're only making $100,000 off of those 1,000 transactions. But yet you have a property management division, and your property management division, you know, you've got 700 units and you're making $800,000 a year off of them, right? So that means that you've invested a certain way in a certain tool or system or program or belief that is giving you a certain result.
Right.
You follow that?
Yep.
So in both of those cases, look at the money that's being spent on what tool and how much usage you're getting out of that. What tool are you getting the most usage, and what are you getting the best return on? That's going to tell you a lot about who you are. Yeah. That's going to help you understand tremendously who you are. Let me give you an example. One more, and then I'll quit talking about this. Right. So we just want to be.
Yeah, because I got one more good follow-up question before we.
So let's say that you look at across your roster and you've got 75 agents, and 11 of them are individual agents, and everybody else is on teams. Yeah. That's your culture. Teams are a big part of your culture. You're winning at that, right? Most likely. You're winning at that. So what are you going to do to keep winning at that? Or is it time to change? Do you not like your profitability because you do have 75% of your people are on teams? Right. So then you got to take a look. Okay, do I want to quit doing teams? Do I want to go hire more of these? If I hire more of these, part of the reason why is that I have these teams because the training is being done by the team leader. I don't have training in place. All of these things matter, and they all count. Right. If you go look at your KPIs, go look at your revenue, go look at your units, go look at all of that, it's going to help you start to understand truly who you are, and then you can decide where you want to go from there. Gotcha. And that's going to impact who you hire.
So Matt, here's what I got. What the crap's all they got to do with generations?
So that's a great question.
Right. So we started with that.
Yep.
You know, I kind of sent us on a little bit of a tangent there. We got 4 or 5 minutes here left.
Yep.
Tell us what's that got to do with?
Yeah. If you don't know who you are, you're just going to end up hiring whoever comes in the front door, and generations have certain characteristics to them.
Right.
Okay. Now that doesn't mean everybody fits into all of that. We talked about that already, right?
Right.
But if you are not planning on where you're going, and if you're not trying to approach certain characteristics that are prevalent inside certain generations, then what you're going to end up with is just what happens to fall in your lap.
Gotcha.
So what you want to do is you want to go, okay, what am I a really loyal person, or do I just not care? I just want the agents. I want their license on my wall. I make $49 a month off of them. That's all I want. I want as many of those as I can get. Is that what you want? If it is, that's great. Just understand that you don't have to care about generations at all at that point. You don't have to care about characteristics at that point. All you have to care about is the numbers. If you want to go in a different direction with your business, you better understand who you are and what generation has those characteristics predominantly, but you don't advertise to that generation. When you're recruiting, you advertise those characteristics.
Gotcha.
Okay, because you might have a 30-year-old that's an extremely loyal person. You might have a 55-year-old that knows more about Apple computers than, right, whoever.
Than you.
Wozniak, right? Everybody knows more than me, right? So that's how you have to look at it. You have to take a close look at who it is, where you currently are, and then those characteristics. So let me give you a very real life example here. So if you're putting lead magnets out there on your social media as an example, okay, and you put and I'm just going to be very stereotypical here. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings or anything like that. Okay,
yeah, I'm crying already.
Let me just throw it out there. Let's say that there's a picture of a man and a woman that the man is explaining to the woman something that's happening on a contract, and this is your recruiting advertisement that you're putting out there.
Yep.
And the guy's hair is as white as my goatee.
Right.
Right. So it's white.
Yep.
Right. It's Santa Claus white. Okay. And and I'm dressed up in a business suit with my tie so tight it looks like it's cutting off the circulation to my brain. Right.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there and I'm pointing this out to a lady who seems to be the same exact age that I am. And the wording on it says, "We understand tech better than any other real estate company. Come join whoever,
yeah.
Right?
Santa Claus Realty.
Santa Claus Realty, right? Okay, those things don't match.
Yeah.
You follow me? That doesn't mean that you don't want to attract someone that has a snow white goatee.
Yeah.
Okay? That means that the picture you're putting out there, what you're throwing out there is just different.
Yep.
Okay, that's what we have to make sure that we do is we're very cognizant about the characteristics and how authentically they are to you, and how much you need to make sure that if it's not where you want to be, how dedicated you are to building that instead of just hoping that it happens to you.
Yeah, makes perfect sense. Yeah. So, but you know, if that guy who has like the white beard and you know the tie like cutting his circulation off and the suit and that kind of thing, and he's talking to another old woman. If he puts a beanie on, it's different, right?
No.
No? Okay.
All right, keep it moving, man. Keep it moving.
Now I'm cool. I have
Right.
a beanie on.
Right.
Or a jersey.
Right.
Right? I don't know.
No.
I don't know. I don't know how to be cool, guys. So that's just, I tried. Before we get to the action item, guys, wherever you're listening to this, whether it be iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Deezer, any of those platforms, make sure you hit that follow button. If you're watching us on YouTube, what's up?
What's up?
Me and Matt both got beanies on.
Nah, we look cool.
Yeah, we're so cool. And jerseys. Hit that red subscribe button, that bell right beside of it. Excuse me, COVID. Hit the bell right beside of it. You get notified every time we drop a new episode. Guys, go to brokerpreneurpodcast.com. Sign up for our weekly newsletter. Just so much recruiting information in there. And we're going to actually start throwing in some information, you know, starting next year that branches outside of that recruiting into, you know, obviously we're going to have recruiting stuff in there, but into more things like, how to have killer sales meetings in your office, and
Agent productivity. Yeah.
Agent productivity. How do you make more money from the agents that you already have also? So
the things that you guys are asking for, the things that we're seeing come up in mastermind groups and everything. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. So sign up for that. We'd absolutely love to be part of it. Let you guys get to know us and a little bit more, and hopefully let us get to know you guys and your business a little bit more as well. So Matt.
Yeah, Ben.
Hook it up with an action item, dude.
Yeah, man. So here's the best thing for us to do if we're trying to take a close look at making sure that we're not just hiring based on just generational characteristics, right?
Okay.
So making sure it's who we actually are. And we kind of touched on this before. Follow the revenue, right? Go follow the money. Figure out where you're spending money and what results you're getting from that money, right? Are you buying leads but they're not converting? Are you going to the big 3 or 4 people and spending a ton of money in order to get them to send you leads every month, and none of that is converting? Why is that not converting? Is that not converting because that's not your culture? Do you not offer training on how to convert? Do you not offer follow-up programs that allow them to stay in touch with people on these leads until the person does convert? So what we want to do is we want to make sure that we're following the revenue to see exactly who we are as a company. That way we can recruit to that personality. That way we can recruit to that characteristic, like we talked about before, right?
Yep.
So let's understand by going back and saying, okay, I spent X amount of dollars on marketing last year, and of those X amount of dollars, here's the return I got. I got a ton of leads, but I'm below the industry average of how many leads converted. Okay.
Yeah.
Does that mean that my company doesn't value training? It might.
Yeah.
It might mean that you need to up that game. If you want your agents to be more, or do you just want to buy more leads?
Yeah.
Right. Go generate more leads. Right. If you're converting at 1% and you want to do more business and get more referral fees off of that, you got a few choices there. Right. Go buy more leads is one of them. Get them better at converting the leads you're already getting is another one of those. Whichever one you want to do, just understand that that's authentically you. That's who you have to hire to.
Yeah.
Unless you want to make a change.
No, I like it. So Matt.
Yeah, Ben.
Lots of people want to make a change.
They do.
But you know what they don't want to change?
What's that?
Their favorite real estate recruiting podcast.
Which one's that, Ben?
What's this one? It's Brokerpreneur podcast.
It is this
Yeah,
one.
they don't want to change that.
Ain't no, but don't go changing.
Yeah. It's a distant second, guys. But Matt.
Yeah, Ben.
All kidding aside, we do this podcast for one reason and one reason alone. Tell them why that is.
Because we just want to be part of their win.
That's right.